Mo Sports Nation, welcome back. My name is Rob Kleinen. As always, we have Connor Peters with me. Hope you're staying safe and healthy. This past weekend, we had the first ever NFL virtual draft.
The Chiefs made several selections. I think all of them are quite interesting, and today we're going to take a look at all of them.
The Chiefs selected a running back, which out of LSU, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yep.
Did I pronounce that right? Very, very unique pick. I was kind of surprised.
It looks like they drafted the next franchise running back. They have someone consistently in the backfield that they can develop, and hopefully is the next Jamaal Charles.
From my understanding, this running back was one of the best running backs as a receiving running back. Did you hear the same thing?
Yes, and actually Clyde Edwards-Helaire in college lined up at wide receiver more than most other running backs did. And of course, with how Andy Reid runs his offenses, you know that that's going to be utilized. I think a comparison in terms of usage might be Christian McCaffrey, how you find him lining up at receiver quite a bit. I think this running back will do that for KC.
They've been saying that selecting a running back in the first round is never a good thing. Do you see this backfiring?
I don't, and it doesn't backfire because the Chiefs retained 20 of 22 starters from their Super Bowl season, so their roster is pretty well figured out, and that gives them great flexibility in the draft. They can pick whoever they'd like, and they still know that they have the roster spots filled, and so it's kind of a luxury, a very rare luxury, but it allows Chiefs to make risks like this, including taking a running back in the first round. So in the second round, the Chiefs selected a linebacker, Willie Gay Jr. What I find interesting about him is he's extremely quick for a linebacker, and he runs almost as fast as your average safety might run. He's also the top-rated coverage linebacker in the draft. So what are your thoughts on this selection?
Well, out of the picks that we had, I thought this one was my favorite pick. I'm glad they went to the defensive side on this pick, and it being a linebacker, I think this guy right here is going to jump right into it immediately. I think this is going to be one of the picks that is a starter right away. So, for the Chiefs' third pick, they selected an offensive lineman. His name was Lucas Niang.
Yep.
Yeah, third round, 96th pick from TCU. What's your thoughts on this?
This is a very good pick for the Chiefs. This is another player that has the potential to start almost immediately for Kansas City. Obviously, it's uncertain exactly how the offensive line might look. We know our tackles, Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, but this is a player who they think they can kick inside. So that's interesting. He's very versatile. And on an offensive line, if you can have a player who can play both tackles and on the interior as well, that's incredible. And I think it goes to show how committed the Chiefs are to protecting Patrick Mahomes.
Yes. Speaking of protecting Mahomes, reading some of his information, his stats from playing at TCU, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you heard this, is through his entire college career, he did not give up a sack.
I think I'm seeing a trend here with the first three picks for the Chiefs. I think all three of them, including Lucas Niang, have the potential to start next season immediately. So in the fourth round, the Chiefs took L'Jarius Sneed. He's a safety cornerback hybrid from Louisiana Tech. I think this is a fantastic pick for the Chiefs because, in my opinion, this is our biggest position of need. I like the most about this pick the fact that he is a safety, but he plays very well at cornerback. And just like Tyrann Mathieu, he's versatile and he can play all along the secondary.
Do you think he'll be a starter right away, or?
I think he's capable of being a starter. Fortunately, we don't need him to be a starter yet. I would compare this pick to Tano Passanio. He's also kind of a defensive end player for the Chiefs. And I think what the Chiefs see there is a player that, if they can develop him properly for a few years, he can become, at least a great special teamer, and then, a good rotation player along the defensive line. I like this pick because, again, I think you can never have too many corners on an NFL team, and I thought the Chiefs needed some depth at that position.
So that was it for our picks. But then afterwards, there was still a lot of action. The Chiefs signed quite a bit of undrafted free agents.
The Chiefs got a top-tier offensive tackle, cornerback, wide receiver, and interior offensive lineman in terms of how all the undrafted free agents stack up against each other. So they got busy and they got a lot of talent out of that undrafted group.
So when they, and I'm asking you this for people that may not know out there, when they sign undrafted free agents, of course they sign them to a contract and there's a monetary value assigned to that contract. The odds of an undrafted free agent actually making a team is fairly slim.
Yep.
So what is the monetary value for undrafted free agents? We're not talking millions of dollars. We're talking
right. Undrafted free agents, typically they'll get a signing bonus maybe of 10 or 15 grand. And the top tier undrafted free agents could get as much as 100 grand in their contract. And it always depends how much is guaranteed, but the only thing that matters to the Chiefs is how that counts against the cap. And with numbers so low in comparison to the starters that they have signed, this counts almost nothing against the cap, and so they're willing to take the risk with that money and gamble on these undrafted players. I think it's worth mentioning several undrafted free agents that the Chiefs have signed in recent years include Danny Sorensen, Charcandrick West, Demetrius Harris, Cairo Santos, and Albert Wilson. So the Chiefs have been able to get starters out of undrafted players, and we might see that trend continue this season. In all, I would give the Chiefs' 2020 draft class an A. And after we see them play, that might become an A+. I think the Chiefs' first 3 picks all will be starters next season at some point.
The grade that I would give the Chiefs would be a B. And the reason I say that is, number one, I think they should have done more with the defense. I thought for sure they'd at least go after a receiver, knowing that we've got 2 receivers that will probably lose next year. I want to remind everybody about the Super Bowl 54 limited edition football signed by 15 Chief players, including Patrick Mahomes, the MVP of Super Bowl 54. The raffle that's taking place, if you want to participate in the raffle, just click the link below. Tickets are $10, and you can buy as many tickets as you want. The raffle will take place Saturday, May 2nd at 6 p.m. For those of you out there asking about upcoming signings, I just want to let you know that we have been contacted by 2 of the rookies that have been drafted over this past weekend. So we're in talks with them. Keep a lookout for our next video where we will be interviewing a former professional baseball player. Don't miss it.